You're going to let 30 seconds of your day ruin, isn't it? You don't need to be able to figure out what 72 times 63 is. How do I get his sleep schedule to be better? So have you tried taking the iPad off him at night time? Is it a big problem? Is it a small problem? But I think that being that person where students can come to you and talk to you.
No, we want to just not be here.
All right. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Nathan Horan. I'm a primary school teacher.
Yep.
Been teaching for 3 years now, so moving up to Bowen, up to the Whitsundays last year. Absolutely love it up here. It's a beautiful spot and yeah, pretty happy. Yeah, it's good.
From the sunny coast.
Yeah, from Noosa. So bit of a change up. It's a little bit less stuff to do here, but you sort of find your way and, you know, there's plenty of nice people up here that you can meet and you can chat with. And yeah, it's lovely. It's a good little community and worst places to be. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Did you do any surfing down there?
Nah, no surfing. I was bloody too clumsy for that. So yeah, basketball was my sport and a bit of footy. So
you got the height for it. So.
Yeah, no good. I'm all gangly, so I'll be no good. My balance is terrible. So yeah, stuck with basketball.
What about netball? You going to come play netball? Hogan here plays on, was it
Thursday night?
Thursdays.
Yeah, I've been playing for about a year since we got up here actually, and that's how I met Hogan.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, so a few of the teachers.
Sounds gay, but it's totally
yeah, it's straight. It's straight. We sort of grab each other every now and then, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's just a couple of men playing with each other.
Yeah,
there's balls involved.
Rubbing up against each other. It's always nice, a bit of a treat for us. But yeah, no, just with the school team, just a few teachers get on and yeah, just have a bit of a play on Thursday night. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
The crazy thought is nearly every sport can be described with men grinding on each other and balls.
That's terrible, Carl. That's terrible.
Oh, God. So we got a mixture of stuff. I know Hoag's done a lot of prep work.
Yep.
I sort of wanted to start with, is it just me or a lot of kids little bastards nowadays?
I think times have definitely changed. You know, speaking to a few teachers at the schools who have been there for, 20, 30 years compared to me. It's obviously a bit different because, technology's coming. It's been a big factor. Even from when I was in primary school, I was in primary school, probably 14, 15 years ago. And I've definitely noticed there's a lot more behaviours nowadays than what there was back then. I think partially it's due to some of the new systems they've got in place with kids not being in trouble for some of their behaviour. I think it's
at home.
At home, yeah. I think it's a lot more of a softer approach now, and I think some of the old techniques are a bit frowned upon.
And also, you'd probably see it a lot, but fatherless families.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's where someone like myself's got a pretty good impact on some kids. Because I'm a male, I'm young, I'm only 25, and I can be a positive influence in their lives and sort of provide that figure at school. Because we've spent 30 hours a week with the kids, which is a fair bit. So sort of just demonstrating what a positive male figure should be like in their life, and trying to provide an influence. I guess it's positive.
I might grab that real quick. So we sort of try and figure out a path to sort of demonstrate that ourselves and bring up different topics, and we've got a heap of like skits we're doing the daily things now, and it gets sort of tricky to sort of distill down what you think a good role model is, like a good masculine role model in today's age.
Yeah.
Where do you sort of approach that from?
I think for me, I've had a sports background. I think there's a very fine line between being confident and cocky in a way. I think for me, confidence is a really big thing in being a male. Being able to speak about your feelings, speak about your emotions, all that sort of stuff is a really, really great skill to have. And I think that's something that a lot of young people struggle with. Even people who are 16, 15, 17, those younger males do struggle. Even people, in their 30s and 40s struggle with it too.
It's crazy you mention it like that, like talking about your feelings and your emotions. Like that wasn't a thing for like our generation growing up in school. If you did that, you were just bullied. Yeah. Like that's how it worked.
And I mean, there is a bit of a difference, I guess. My background, mum and dad were both police officers. And dad, old school, he was 40 when he had me. So he sort of taught me that way of, a bit of tough love, get on with it, you'll be right. But he also showed me a side where, it is okay if you're feeling pissed off, if you're angry, if you're sad, it is okay to, talk about it. You don't have to bottle it up and just get on with it. It's sort of that thing where if I was to hurt myself at sport, if I was to fall over and graze my knee or do my ankle or whatever, it's nice, you're right, get up.
Yeah,
but when it is
rub
something,
some dirt on it.
rub some dirt, you'll be right. And I think that's a really big thing that kids nowadays don't have, because you see a lot of kids, like they'll fall over, they hurt themselves, and their first instinct is to start crying and sobbing.
Yeah.
And my mind goes to, and I've tried to instill this in the kids that I teach a little bit, it's not that big of a problem. But then obviously things like, my dad passed away a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and that was pretty tough for me. And I haven't really had to process emotions like that before. But luckily, like, my mum was fantastic with it all, and her and I were able to chat, and I had Roxy as well, my partner, who's been really good to chat with about it. And yeah, I just think it's from a realization that emotions do happen. You talk about it, you get on with it. There's no point in dwelling on it. 2-3 months later.
I have a question for you. So, me and Calm father differently. I know he takes a more modern, masculine approach, whereas I am more.
You said that like you were fucking spitting it out, and you're like, modern, masculine, I guess.
No. But you do. You're, I would say, a lot softer than I am on my kids, and I just wanted to sort of get an idea where if you got traditional here and modern here, like I'm sort of. Not all the way. Like, I'm not slapping my wife and be like, "Where's my supper?" Like,
get them for me, love. Yeah.
But like, where are you sort of on the scale?
I think it's hard for me because I'm not a father at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think insofar as having a lot to do with kids, like I've taught kids in prep all the way up to year 6. So that's that kids as young as 4 all the way to kids that are 13. I think the approach that I've gone with is very more so on the traditional side. Universities talk a lot about mental health and all that sort of stuff, which is really important, and it's a great thing to be aware of, things like anxiety, depression, and all those sort of things. But I think a lot of kids, now that they know those words, because when I was in primary school, I didn't even know what that sort of stuff was. I didn't know what anxiety was. It was just you're feeling nervous, you're a little bit worried.
That's your phone.
That's one of the devices. My phone's on mute, but that'll be like my work tablet or something.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good.
Every single time it's the device I can't mute. I gotta like shove it under a pillow or something.
It's all sweet. But I think I'm definitely more of a traditional approach. And when myself and my partner do have kids in a few years' time, it'll be very you've done the wrong thing, you're in trouble. You're not, it's okay, don't do that next time, pat on the back sort of thing. And I think that's what I'm trying to do a bit at the school,
Don't worry, Calm. It's not us against you.
Yeah,
I was actually laughing because I was thinking about sort of a fun example of that. So a daycare, bless their souls, a kid hit my boy the other day.
Yeah.
And I've taught him the whole way through. I'm like, look, if you do something wrong, you have to take ownership. The other kid didn't say sorry, so he just walked up and punched him in the face. Like, you're going to learn today.
Yeah.
It's funny because he's like 2.
Yeah. It's still okay when you're little.
Yeah, I definitely think natural consequences is a pretty good thing,
You learn.
We had a kid at school the other day mucking around and he climbed into a wheelie bin. Anyway, big gust of wind came down and blew it over, and he fell and the lid shut on his fingers. He started crying after that, so I didn't really feel too sorry for him. I started laughing a little bit, but
I'd be laughing my ass off. I'd be like, oh, that sucks, bro.
Yeah, things happen. You got to get on with it.
Question for you, Calm. Do you want him to sit here so he's not like fucking?
That might be better.
Yeah. That's right. Lucky I've got a bendy neck, eh?
So, how long till you get whiplash? Can we figure that out?
I know.
You can tell we're working on our set ideas. We're literally like standing in the room before playing with the camera angles and stuff because we're going to paint up that room in there.
Yeah, sweet.
For it. And it's like, what do we do? We started with like a dungeon, and that was an interesting start. And we tried outdoors, and outdoors is really scenic, but is a bit of a hassle in other ways.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the outdoors.
I think we're going to do more outdoors. I'd like to do the beach.
Yeah, the beach would be nice. You just need to worry about sand and salt water and all that sort of stuff getting into your equipment, I guess. But
yeah, well,
that might be a bit of a
once
pain.
we start making money, it's tax write-offs.
Yeah, that's true. I just buy every week a new product. Yeah.
This is a podcast. You don't make money.
Right. So let's jump into the other question and talk about AI. So how is AI playing a place in
schools?
Primary school, at least?
I think for myself and a lot of other teachers, it's a really handy tool, when you have to do things, especially in the upper years, you have to do things like model responsive assessment pieces and all that sort of stuff. And as a teacher, it's important that you do know how to teach it. But with all the marking, planning, assessing, you sort of run out of time to be able to write that modeled assessment by yourself. So if you can go into AI and just type in, hey, I need this, 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 and this, and it'll spit it out in 5 minutes and it's done. You know, so I've found it to be a really, really helpful tool. But I know a few more of the older teachers who are a bit more traditional, who have had more experience than me, they're a bit more against it.
Yep.
Like I've found this new program I literally put in, give me a lesson on factors and multiples, might be for maths or whatever. And it'll spit me out this massive big PowerPoint and it's got all the things that I want on it. And I can just teach off that and it makes it a lot easier. It just
Is it able to do the math correctly?
It can for the most part. Sometimes I have to have a bit of a look at it and go, oh, that's probably not how I'd do it. So you just go in and you just edit it before school. And it's a handy tool that I think is really going to assist teachers in the future. It won't necessarily take over from teaching, but it'll be a good little thing to have in your pocket, you know, just so you're not putting as much time in at home, because I know that's a lot of the reason that a lot of teachers are leaving the profession is because they're really time poor. And a lot of people have got the notion, you know, you go to work from 9 till 3 and you get, 12 weeks of holidays a year, but it is a very time consuming profession and you don't get paid for a lot of the hours that you do put in. So I think anything that can assist with making the job easier, it's like anything, you know?
Yeah, of course.
If you're a Sparky, there's a new thing coming out. Obviously, you're going to do that because it's not going to make your job easier. So I think it's definitely a tool that's really good.
Do you think it might backfire? Like, the first thing that sort of come to mind was if you're streamlining something, then your boss requires you to do more in that same time frame. Yeah, that's what I sort of first thought when you were saying that.
It's a little bit tricky. Because there are so many different levels that kids are at in the school as well. There's a lot of differentiating that you do need to do, and it's not quite there yet. But for those kids who are able to work a bit more independently, it's a really good tool because you can set them up with their assessment. Then you're able to spend that time with, your 3 or 4 kids who do need that extra support to be able to complete their work. Principals and deputies and your bosses and all that sort of stuff, they're not too fussed if you use it. It's good. It's just, each to their own. And if you're using it to your advantage, it's working and you're getting the results that you need from the kids. And it's play on, you're allowed to use it. So it's sweet.
Do you ever find you get AI answers back? So, like, I know in the later grades or uni, I know a lot of people in uni, everything's just done by AI now.
Yeah.
They're not absorbing jack shit. They're just like, I have 10 of these assessments due. I'm not looking at any of them for more than 20 minutes of AI work. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah. So when I was going through university, that was 2021, 2022-ish.
Was GPT a thing then?
It was just coming out.
I think it was new then when it was still dumb.
Yeah, so one of my best mates, he's a big computer nerd. He's into all the technology and all that sort of stuff. And he told me about this thing called ChatGPT. And I'm going, I said, whatever. I said, right, I'll just do my assessments by myself. And then he showed me how to use it. I've gone, wow, like this can be a really powerful tool. But in primary schools, you don't see it too much because a lot of it's handwritten assessments. As you definitely get older, I've spoken to a few high school teachers who have noticed a big pickup, but there are things where you turn in an assessment nowadays and it'll pick up whether or not you've used AI to complete an assessment and it just gets marked as a fail. So
that's hard because, like, you've told me things where you can personalize your AI so much that it'll spit an answer out in the sense of you saying it.
Yeah, so you can set it up to write in your own words pretty easily. Jeez, and I've used the AI checkers.
Yeah.
My writing style, my actual natural writing style, is now formatted in such a way that I will come up as AI more often than what the AI comes up as AI.
Jeez, you kidding? Well, it's funny you say that because I had an assessment. It was my very last university assessment. It was for statistics and data or something. So it was a really boring assessment piece. Anyway, so I've done it all up. It was a 3,000 word assessment piece and I've put it through AI just to check for punctuation and spelling and just sort of fine tune it a little bit. I've gone, oh, sweet. So I copied the whole thing, popped it back into my Word document and I submitted it. And a few days later, I got a email saying, oh, your assessment's come back 98% AI generated. I've gone, oh, shit. And it was my final assessment piece that I needed to do before I finished uni. So I think it definitely does have a few issues that can come up with it. So luckily I explained myself and I got out of it. But yeah, it definitely could have bit me in the arse a little bit, I think, if I had have.
Did you explain it by saying you completely wrote it and you just put it through to
just
spell
to edit
check
it
and things
yeah,
like that?
so they were fine with that, luckily.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I know that a lot of people, because it was my last assessment piece in 2022, a lot of people were using that, write me an assessment on this, and they'll just submit that straight away. So
wow.
yeah, so I was pretty
That's
lucky.
so good.
Yeah, and obviously being, like a younger male, like, some of the lecturers looked at me and went, "Oh, you're probably one of the blokes who's done that." But yeah, luckily, like, they sided with me, which was really handy. So yeah.
It's going to be problematic going forwards, that's for sure. I mean, do you have any grounding with like teaching kids to use it in school?
Not currently, but I can definitely see a world where, 5-6 years down the track where we definitely will be probably incorporating a little bit into the curriculum. Just because in all jobs at the moment, pretty much it's becoming more and more
prominent.
Yeah, prominent. Yeah. So everyone's starting to use it. So I think it's a good tool to teach kids how to use, but use it appropriately and when to use it. I think that's going to be the main thing. Like obviously there's still important things that kids need to understand, like sentence structures and paragraphs, how to write a paragraph, how to write a resume, all that sort of stuff is still really important to teach it. But yeah, just the appropriateness of when to use it and how to use it and what it can be used for, I think is really important to teach.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a late bloomer with the old ChatGPT. Calm got me onto it. But I've always thought that, the more you use it, the dumber you'd get. But then I saw the way that Calm used it.
Yeah.
And I actually think the opposite now. I think if you use it correctly, you can become quite smart.
Yeah.
It's all about the prompts and things like that you feed it.
Yeah.
The more things you feed it, the better an answer it's going to give you.
Exactly,
Just an example, I said I wanted to have like a certain garden in my backyard.
Yeah.
And Calm wrote this full essay into ChatGPT, like, I live at this address, I have this sort of dirt, I want to grow these fruits and vegetables and give me a tier system garden. And it was like, this will grow better with this over the top of it, shading it and providing extra, the runoff water. And I was just like, what?
It's amazing what it can do, isn't it? It's ridiculous. My mate, the same bloke who's a bit of a computer nerd, he was doing he's in charge of making little chatbots for some of the for some websites. So he he was working for an insurance company and he just put in a bunch of prompts into an AI thing. It wasn't necessarily ChatGPT, but it was an AI system. And it spat out a whole new website and showed him exactly step by step how he needs to do it, how he should set it out, how he can prevent this, this, and this. And yeah, he said it made his job a million times easier. So yeah, it's definitely a beneficial tool if you can use it properly. Yeah.
100%. What do you reckon?
I think it's the end of a hell of a lot of white collar jobs.
The more it advances.
Now.
What, now? Okay.
Now there's I forget the exact amount, but in the States, I think it's cost 100,000 jobs this year.
Jeez.
And it's going to be more. It's going to be very disruptive long term.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to take teachers?
Surely not, right?
I don't think so. I think with teaching, it's a lot of relationship stuff, because kids are a bit, they're complicated kids. No kids are the same. I think the way you communicate with kids is so important in how far they can take things. I know for myself, I had a PE teacher when I was younger and he just got through to me straight away. He got me right into all these sports and all that sort of stuff, which had led to representative stuff through Queensland and all that sort of stuff. And I've got him to thank for it. So I think that personal relationship will never die off. I think it'll always be a really important thing. And that's probably why teaching won't be taken over by AI. Hopefully, touch wood.
This is an interesting question. I've had one teacher that I can always think of, he was a blessing to me, grade 7.
Yeah.
Really opened me out of my shell,
Yeah.
Do you think that, only a percentage of kids meet this teacher and then the higher other percentage don't get that relationship that you're talking about with a teacher that really blossoms them?
Yeah, I think for myself personally, I think a strength of mine is obviously building relationships with kids, positive relationships with kids, and I think that's a really great skill that I possess. But My goal is, even if I'm making a positive impact in one student's life, that's the main thing for me, eh? And obviously, the more you can reach, the better. But just by some days, you might wake up and go, "Oh, I don't want to come to work," much like any other job. But then you think about, oh, this kid may have come to school. He may have, been hit by his dad, been hit by his mum, might not have had breakfast. He may have been having a really shit start to his day. And by coming to school, you can just be that light and he can really, or she can enjoy herself just for that 6 hours and just relax, There's a lot of studies at the moment, especially in the younger years, prep to year 2, year 3. Some students are coming to school and they just fall asleep at their desk. And, back in the old days, it would have been you got whacked on the desk and wake up. And there's a lot of research suggesting that kids just leave them, just let them sleep because they feel safe in that space where they can just relax.
Sad,
It's
a bit scary when you think right about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's a reality for a lot of kids, and some of these kids that are being difficult, you just sort of think to yourself, what's their home life like, Is there a reason that they're lashing out? And we had a professional development day last year, and the fellow who came in, he was really good. He was comparing it to a can of Coke. So the analogy that he used was if this young fella in the morning, his mum's left for work at 5 a.m. He's 12 years old. He's had to get his 2 younger siblings ready for school. They're riding to school on their bike. Bike has a flat tire. He has to walk. He drops his brother and sister off at school. Then he has to go over to high school. On the way to high school, it starts raining. So already that can of Coke, it's starting to be shaken up. Then he comes into school maybe 5 minutes late, and the teacher goes, "Where have you been? Why haven't you been at school?" He's just going to explode eventually.
Yeah, it's forced maturity.
That's it, yeah. So I think just creating that environment, especially being an upper school teacher, I think just where kids can come in and just know that it's relaxed. They don't have to be perfect all of the time. But yeah, obviously still if they muck around, I'll still call them out.
Yeah, of course.
Be like, what are you doing?
That's an interesting skill. Like you've displayed that a lot with me. Like I'll come to you, oh, I've got a problem with this, and you're like, no, just think of it this way. And it's like I put such emphasis on the perception of reality. Like this is how I'm perceiving this right now, and you're just like, yeah, but look at it this way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Shout out to Kate with the mobile phone thing.
Oh, just heaps of things. Like you've actually done it quite a few times with me, but yeah,
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
it's good. So yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, no, that's sort of my philosophy with teaching. Just make it a bit enjoyable for kids, but also raise them to, because I feel like in high school there are a lot of kids who are disrespectful and don't. They know the right thing to do, but they do the wrong thing because they get away with it more often than not. So I think sort of being a male in a primary school, because there's only 4 or 5 of us at the primary school that I teach at, and I think just being that example of, hey, you've done the wrong thing, there's a consequence.
It's good to see you doing that so young too. Like you're 25?
25, yeah, just turned 25, yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks,
for
mate.
yesterday.
Thank you.
That means you got a lot of years left.
Yeah, definitely. So,
Do you think you'll still have that spark and fire in your soul when you're getting on a bit more? I hope so.
Yeah, it's tricky to say. Some days. Last year for myself and the year before, it's pretty challenging. I had a lot of behaviours in my class, and you finish the day and you just be exhausted. Because you may have one kid who's running around with scissors, another kid who's climbing all over desks, another kid who's just completely out of control. And it's really difficult to unwind from that. So I think luckily this year I've got a pretty good class. I've got really nice kids who get along, a lot of maturity in the class, which is great. So that's definitely been a big boost to my mental health this year, I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I've been pretty stoked with how things have been going. I know I'm only 8 weeks in so far, but yeah, it's been good. But it's hard to say in 20 years' time what it'll be like, or 10 years or 5 years even what it'll be like for myself. But yeah, at the moment I'm enjoying it. It's good.
Speaking of your mental health, does that take a lesson in what you teach? I don't know. Do you bring like real life things into the class, like mental health?
Probably not as much as what there should be. At the moment, myself as a teacher and a lot of the other teachers in at the school, we're not teaching health as a subject. The PE teacher's in charge of that, but it's really difficult because each class is only allocated an hour of PE time per week. So I don't think there's enough time spent on the mental health side and even things like healthy eating and stuff. Yeah.
At an hour a week, that's not much time for much anything, truthfully.
No, not at all. And, that's a challenge I'm finding at the moment because on Mondays I've only got the kids for 2 or 3 hours because they've got PE or they might have art or music or one of those. And it's really hard to get that flow. But yeah, I mean, an hour of PE, like obviously myself, I've got a really strong sporting background. I love PE, but I think there definitely needs to be a bit more time made for exercise because I know for myself, if I go to the gym or I go for a run, I've got that big hit of dopamine. I'll go, oh, I'm feeling really good. But if I don't go, then I go, oh, I feel pretty shitty and crummy. So yeah, and I think even in young people, they've got all those hormones in their head as well, being able to go out for a run, boost their mood. Yeah, so
we used to have this one teacher when I was in primary school, just off track a little. And if we were all just being right terrors, like right shits, we'd all go out to like the field.
Yep.
And it was push-ups. He'd get this class of kids out.
That's good.
We'd go and do push-ups, walk around the oval like 3 times, and then we'd go back to class. And that always seemed to do the trick.
Yeah.
Because no one was keen to go back out. He'd join us, though. That was the side of it that mattered.
Yeah.
He'd be there doing them, showing everyone the right form, talking everyone through it, and going, look, if you've got energy or if you just can't sit still, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind running a little bit of a boot camp with some of the kids, just to sort of show them, you can get tired, you can get all that energy out through exercise, like you said just before. It's easy, it's 5-10 minutes, and they're back to normal. They've regulated themselves, they're ready to go. So that could definitely be something I can trial with the kids and give that a go, tire them out. So
that'll tie in next with this question, but classrooms now versus 100 years ago. Not much has changed.
Not too much, really. We've got TVs in the classroom nowadays, but that's probably pretty much the only thing that's changed. I think.
Yeah. If I'm not gonna wear my tinfoil hat on this question too much, but are we really just making future employees? Sit down, shut up. This is when you eat lunch. You know what I mean? Like
yes, and no. I definitely can see that side of it. But I think there are a lot of social skills that come out of school as well. Like at the end of the day, kids are going to have to get jobs to live. That's just sort of the current world we live in, and being able to follow expectations and rules and things like getting your assessments in on time. You have time frames when you're working. So I think learning those skills in primary school is really important because it translates into work when they're 30, 40, 50 years old. But yeah, I can sort of see where you're coming from the sit down, shut up, listen. But I think for myself, like obviously having older parents, like mum and dad were both 40 when they had me, I think that respect was instilled in me when I was young. And you can definitely tell the kids who have parents who do put a lot of time into them and teach them respect and manners. You can see that, and it makes things flow a lot quicker. And, when there is that good flow of stuff that happens and they get a reward, they might go out for a game, or we might do a movie, or, so it's teaching the right thing does give you rewards rather than if you do the bad thing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there are a lot of life lessons because obviously school's not for everyone, like some people leave in year 10 to go be a mechanic, or they might be a sparky or a chippy or whatever. But they do learn all those social skills, how to communicate with other people and how to get along. If you don't agree with someone, you just don't go and bash them. So as much as I might like to. But yeah, I think from that aspect, it's definitely a beneficial thing, more so social skills than anything. Yeah.
Just jumping in on social skills real quick, because I've been thinking about it a lot. I hate to say it, I have quite a few younger friends than me, and the amount of them that I have, I just call them all just turbo autistic at this point, because they have zero understanding of social skills. I think it's that whole being like in high school through COVID, just annihilated their ability to have any concept of social skills, even slightly.
Yeah.
Do you see that in the younger kids much at all?
Look, sometimes you do. Things so far as I think being bored is a skill. I think being able to sit there for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I definitely think it's a skill.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
It's something a lot of kids, they're not good at being bored for even 5 minutes. They just can't be bored.
You ever been starved of dopamine for a while? You remember the last time you didn't scroll on your fucking phone or have something happening? That's what it is.
You mean the 8 to 12 hours at work that I do?
Yeah, that's the one. Now, think of the mind of a kid who they've grown up with TikTok, where they watch for 6 seconds at max on everything.
Yeah, you can't do this in a truck. Like,
Exactly. On the end of the road, wouldn't you? Yeah.
How many young truck drivers you see?
yeah, true, not a lot.
Yeah. So I think, I think being able to sit there, listen to instructions for a set amount of time is definitely a skill that a lot of kids need. You know, and I think that sort of ties in. There is a lot of, you know, autism, ADHD, all that sort of stuff. Because even when I was at school, you know, a decade ago, we barely had any of that sort of stuff, you know.
I agree.
But nowadays, it's, you know, every third or fourth kid's got a diagnosis of some sort. And whilst it might be true, it just wasn't as, I wouldn't say accepted, but it wasn't as common back then. You know, it was you were poorly behaved or you were doing the wrong thing. But nowadays it's, this kid's got ADHD, he's allowed to do that, or she's allowed to do that, or so that sort of that's one thing that I sort of struggle a little bit, I guess. Like
A lot more allowances for it now.
Yeah, and I mean that preaching equity and equality and all that sort of stuff, and you know, every kid's got
Whoa. Don't just gloss over that. They're not the same.
I know, but they both go sort of hand in hand at schools, you know. Kids need to be equal. They need to all have the right to learn and have access to different resources and abilities to learn in different ways. And I think things like speech to text is a big thing that's come in for those kids who are a bit more quieter and struggling with things like dyslexia and ADHD. That's a really good feature. But
have you got the pens, the note taker pens?
No, we don't know.
Oh, they're so good.
What are those?
So I forget the name of the company. If I find, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a lecture, they press a button, it records the whole bloody thing.
Yeah.
And then it transcribes it to a computer later if you plug it in.
Oh, that's good, eh?
And there's also a pen. So they can write it down while it records it and then transcribes it and sends it to them later.
Jeez, that'd be
and
good.
then they can listen to it back if they want to.
Wow.
The idea is, and I know it's mainly for like union stuff, that it's a big concession one there, but if you've got ADHD or you really, really struggle,
Yeah.
it gives you that opportunity to get other ways of getting information again or reviewing it.
Yeah.
I don't believe they were particularly expensive. I think they were like $300 or $400.
Yeah, okay. Well, because I've got a young fella in my class, and he is he's autistic, and he at the moment he's got these buttons, and you speak into them, and then you hit the button, and then it repeats back what you've said. So so it's very similar to that. So when he has a piece of work to do, he might read, I don't know, because he's on a year one level for English. It might be, what feelings did Captain Underpants have during this stage of the book? And he'll read the question, he'll say it, then he'll go find it in the book, and then he'll repeat the question to himself so he can hear it again, and then it confirms his answer for him. So, I mean, technology is going in a way where it is assisting kids with all sorts of needs, you know, back in my day, but
Back in my day,
back when good things happened. We never had that sort of, you know, technology available to us. It was sit down, take notes, shut up, do the right thing. So I think, even 10 years, it's a massive change for kids. And I think it's definitely beneficial for a lot of kids who do struggle with I don't know, remembering and recall and comprehension and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Where do you think it's going to go, like long term, right? Because I remember in high school, especially, you just sort of run out of interest, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it'll keep getting much more down that track in the primary school era even? Because I know TikTok's so big that the government's stepping in to like ban it and shit.
Yeah. I think it's like anything, eh? Like everything has stuff you get bored with, I guess. You know, even myself teaching, there are some things that I go, I don't have to teach that sort of, you know, fractions and multiplying fractions. I haven't used that ever in my life, but it is part of the curriculum.
Pythagoras theorem.
Oh, mate, I know. I haven't touched that since year 9. So, But yeah, there are some things where you're just like, oh, why am I teaching this? But unfortunately, it's part of the curriculum, and you know, it's what needs to be done. And I think a lot of kids just need to realize, you know, it is what it is. Get on with it, do it. It's done when it's done, you know, and that's sort of something that I've been trying to drive with them. But
my cheat code through high school, was actually just befriending the teachers. Like if you're just nice to them, you listen to what they say, you can do a pretty C grade job on your assessments and stuff, and you'll find you'll get more than a C. Like I remember Mr. Derek. Shout out Mr. Derek if you're listening, but taking us out to gym and he'd be, "What are you laughing at?" He'd show us the exercises we were doing. I was just doing whatever he was doing, and I remember him giving me an A for our gym studies or whatever it was. But it was just a cheat code for me. Like,
Yeah.
a
lot of things, there's not a whole heap of resilience in classrooms at the moment. Sort of, I can't do this, I'll give up. But I feel as though those kids who are a bit more resilient, they want to have a go at things, they're keen, they put their hand up to answer questions, they often correlates with better grades, truthfully, and more success. Even if a kid shouts out the wrong answer, at least they're engaged, they're listening, they're wanting to have a go. And I think that, as a teacher, it makes me feel a lot better because I'm like, oh, this kid actually cares about my opinion and what I have to say about things, and they're listening and they're learning. And I think that just, for some reason, it just stays in your brain. You go, oh, this kid really tried hard at this piece of assessment. And they might be teetering on that C to B, and you might sort of maybe teeter more towards the B. It can definitely influence. Influence things. I think, especially in some subjects like HASS and stuff that are a bit less important than maths and English. It can definitely, a lot of effort sort of, may sway how things are done.
Way to shout out a subject that you're just like, nah, that one's not important.
We're doing an assessment at the moment. I still my head in, so I have to repeat the question about 8 times to the kids. But it's not my favourite thing to teach, but it's not too bad.
It's sort of a generalization teaching primary school, isn't it? You just do a little bit of everything generally.
Maths, English, science, HASS. You need to sort of be a jack of all trades, master of none in a way, I guess. Just sort of need to be
I don't want to start a beef between you and me.
That's right, mate.
But
as he immediately starts one.
But what's your thoughts on, this is me as a parent, but like I tell my daughter, I don't care what your report card says.
Yep.
Like, I think for you to go to school is, I want you to be able to string a sentence together, put some numbers together.
Yep.
And be social. I think the social aspect is a really big thing for me. Like, they say when you get these upper class jobs and that, it's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And you do have to string a sentence together.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on? I don't want to say not trying hard for assessments or anything, but I definitely do want my daughter to try.
Yeah.
But I don't care what her report card says so much.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on that?
My parents were very much the same as you,
Right.
If I wasn't straight A's or anything, I was sort of B's, C's. And I think at the end of the day, as a parent, it's hard for me to speak, and as a teacher, as long as your student or your kid in your class is polite, well-mannered, and communicates well with others, can do the basics, you've sort of done your job in a way, and I think that's definitely a reflection of parenting as well, not just teaching, because a lot of parents sort of put that onus on teachers to teach them those social skills and how to interact with one another. And I think if I was to have kids, I think I'd be a lot prouder of my kid if they got excellent behaviour or perfect behaviour or whatever, than an A in maths or whatever. And I think that just might be me as a person. Like, obviously people would differentiate the me, but I think it is important that kids can do those basic things, communicate well, get along. And I think, at the end of the day, it's letter on a piece of paper.
I couldn't help but laugh at that because I had the opposite. My poor mum was like, you seem to do well in the classes, but every teacher just says that you're not interested even slightly. It's like, I just don't want to be there.
Yeah. I mean, you get those kids that sit in class and they're just drifting off, looking out the window, and we've got a bit of construction going on at school at the moment, so you get the kids who look like little meerkats running over to the window whenever they hear a loud bang or whatever. But, I think at the end of the day, kids are kids. You got to remember these kids are, 10 years old that I teach, and it's not the be-all and end-all. If they don't do that well at school, as long as they're nice, they're good kids, that's the main thing for me.
Jordan Peterson mentions it in one of his books. I think it was 12 Rules of Life. He talks about how the most important thing you can do with your kids is make sure that other adults will like them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if adults don't like the kids, they're never getting any opportunities. Like, I still meet people today who are like, I remember when you were a kid, 20 years ago. And you're like, oh, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You were so polite. And it's like, oh, okay, that's good. I'm not anymore.
But Nah, definitely. I think, the impact, and I think one of the words that I'm using with the kids a lot is impression, making a good impression on people. And a lot of, obviously, year five kids are stepping into those leadership roles next year at school. You know, we got sports captain, cultural captain, school captain, house captain, all that sort of stuff. And I think that being confident in who you are is a big thing for a lot of kids, you know. And yeah, like another one of my strengths is being able to bring kids out of their shell and make them feel comfortable and confident. And yeah, I think just that's one of the main things I really want to get out of the kids. And just as long as they're polite, that's really my main focus with them.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're a strapping young lad,
Thank you.
25-year-old.
Yeah.
Health regime.
Oh,
What do you do? Vitamins, supplements, peptides,
KFC.
gym, KFC, high metabolism.
Yeah, just eat whatever's in the fridge, eh? For myself, I was lucky enough to be given a lot of opportunities through sport when I was younger. I've played basketball in 4 different countries.
That's cool.
Yeah, so where was I? America, here, New Zealand, and a little bit in Canada, just sort of going around playing a few tours and all that sort of stuff. And I think from a young age, I sort of had that routine and discipline built into me. And yeah, it's just sort of carried over to now. Like obviously up here, there's not as much sport to do, but just going up to the gym every now and then, every week. And yeah.
Yeah, are you
Well, every
following?
once in a while.
Oh, a couple of times a week, eh?
That sounds a bit more accurate.
Yeah.
Just for reference, because I'm sure someone will ask, how tall are you?
6'4". So
6'4".
Damn.
so it's 194 centimeters. Yeah, so nearly 200.
Yeah, I'm a $180, so
Okay.
I'm right on 6 foot.
I'm 6'1", and I'm feeling short at the moment.
Yeah. So definitely. Few boys that I know from basketball, I know a few 7-footers and people. Yeah. So I'm sort of short, hanging out with them, but yeah.
There's a bloke from high school. We used to go to school with Domo Quirk, and I don't know how tall he was, but I know he had a size 15 men's foot.
Yeah.
Like he was a big dude.
Yeah. I'm a 14, so I'm pretty.
Yeah, you're pretty close then.
Yeah. One of the boys I played basketball with, he was a size 18. He was up to, so he had to get all these shoes imported from the States.
Jesus.
Huge. Yeah.
I hate to think about how painful it would be trying to get shoes from the States in just for that.
Yeah, it's no good, eh?
You wouldn't even need flippers.
Just going in the ocean there, barefooted, eh? Yeah. But yeah, there was a stage there where my shoe size was matching my age. So like when I was 11, I was size 11, 12, 13. So yeah, mum and dad were getting the shits because I was going through a pair of shoes every 6 months.
Yeah.
So glad that's over when I have to pay for my own things, eh?
I reckon.
Once you pay for our own things, it's never as fun. That's the problem with it.
It turns to shit, doesn't it, when you turn like 18? You just go, oh, this is no fun anymore.
So as a point of interest, just because like everyone sort of thinks about what they do for work and how they got into it,
Yeah.
I got to know what drove you to become a teacher. Was it that PE teacher who sort of helped you, or?
Yeah, definitely. So, my mum, she worked for a company down in Canberra called Smart Start, and they used to do sports with kids and go into schools and educate them about healthy eating, all that sort of stuff. And being around that, myself saying that, I've gone, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do to influence kids and to sporting opportunities. And with that PE teacher, like I said before, I think he's a big reason why I became a teacher. At the moment, I'm pretty happy doing general classroom teaching. It's nice to be able to build those rapport with those kids because you have them every single day. But in the future, definitely PE teaching is sort of something I would want to get into and, provide opportunities for kids to go represent Queensland and North Queensland. And being in such a smaller community, trying to build up opportunities for kids so they don't have to go up to Townsville or down to Mackay or that's definitely something that I want to get started in Bowen or on the Whitsundays at least. So, yeah.
Yeah, because all the kids here, every time you wanted to do anything at a higher level, you had to go somewhere. That was just how it was.
Yeah, which it's unfortunate. Even on the Sunshine Coast, we'd have to go to Brisbane every weekend to play basketball or down to the Gold Coast. So
that's such a miserable trip too.
Oh, shocking! I know. Poor mum and dad. They were doing 1,500-1,600 kilometre weeks to get me down to training and games, and yeah, so definitely something I'm grateful for. But yeah,
that $3 a litre everyone's on down there means that's not happening.
Oh no, yeah, I'll be playing bloody squash at the local centre, I reckon, if it wasn't for that. But yeah,
I have a rule with my kids that they're not meant to do more than one sport, and it's so that their parents have a life.
Yeah,
like because I do my job, and then I got to try and come home, squeeze that gym session, prep dinner, and do this and do that, and God,
it's hard.
Never ending.
We had a young fella at the school last year, and he's actually gone on scholarship to a school down in Yeppoon, and He was North Queensland for rugby league, AFL, rugby union, touch footy.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'd be exhausted as a parent, I reckon, having to do that, and yeah, just a lot big commitment, eh?
Yeah,
being a
sorry to
parent.
shit on your dreams, kid, but no.
Sorry, mate, pick one. Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up in Canberra, so I grew up playing rugby league and basketball, and it sort of got to that stage where mum and dad were going, "Oh, pick one or the other." So
Yeah.
I picked basketball because inside was nice and warm. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that was sort of my choice. About 12, I had to make that choice, but yeah,
I think you made the right choice. Like, yeah.
yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
league's the one to pick if you can. That seems to be the highest paid generally.
Yeah, well, definitely in Australia at least. No, with the NBL, which is the national competition, I sort of trained with the Brisbane Bullets and stuff a little bit when I was a bit younger, but the wages there, they're going upwards of $400,000-$500,000 a season nowadays. It's definitely gaining some traction. Yeah, so and some of the better players are on nearly $1 million. So would have been good if I could have cracked that, but yeah, I'll stick with teaching at the moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
but,
So what do you reckon? Is there... So I had a question written down. I've forgotten how I've written it, but it doesn't matter.
One of them.
Those are your notes, and I definitely
No,
can't read your writing.
Oh god.
But it was sort of around the idea of how you're trying to shape the image of masculinity in school.
Yeah.
Because like teachers all try and give off either their own bravado or their own style, right?
Yeah.
So I've had teachers in the past, mind you, it's been a long time, where some of them would take that direct, like, you're here to learn and that's it. Don't come to me with your problems kind of approach.
Yeah.
And I've had the opposite where they try and be your friend. And I've had the dichotomy of...
That's a cool word, by the way.
dichotomy,
I don't
yeah.
even know what that is.
I don't know what di means too, so I don't know what cotomy means.
Getting derailed. Not a very good train. But I was thinking of like Mr. Tours, if you remember him.
Yeah. Yeah.
How he would always be there, no matter what it was for. He'd be there to help. He'd offer advice.
Yeah.
Just couldn't do more than... I've never seen anyone do more for their students than him.
Yeah.
Where do you sort of think you're going to fall into that as you shape forwards? Like, I imagine me as a teacher, I'd be getting to the point pretty quick where I'm like, I don't like kids anymore. I'm a little over this.
Yeah. I had a prac teacher, I think it was my first year, and she'd been teaching for 40 years. And she was saying there's a really fine line between being friendly and being friends with your kids. Because obviously still in that position where they do need to respect what you say and they need to do the right thing when you do direct them to do the right thing. But I think that being that person where students can come to you and talk to you about things that are going on in their life and being able to support them and provide them with information that might help them get through that time, especially if it's a tough time. You know, I had a student who had a family member pass away the other day. So just being able to offer them that support and telling them that it is okay to feel how they're feeling. It is okay to feel sad, angry, upset. I think that's definitely a thing that I like to advocate in my class. But by the same token, if they're whinging about a little ant bite or something on their hand, I'm like, you're right, get on with it, you're fine. So I think it is being able to pick your moments and knowing your kids as well. You know, if you've got a kid who's just going to cry about everything, then I think you sort of got to set them straight a little bit more. But if you do have a student who it's unusual for them to be demonstrating those sad, upsetting behaviours, then there's something going on. So you need to be able to approach it a certain way. So yeah, so I think it's just about knowing your personnel more than anything. And
Can I add to that though? But like, do you listen to Rogan?
I have, but not too often. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why are you laughing at me, bruh?
Because he's like, do you listen to Rogan?
No. Okay.
Next one is, have you seen Andrew Tate?
He says the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So,
Yeah.
and because these kids are like 10 and may not have crazy life experience and
Yeah.
stuff, if the worst thing that's ever happened to them is a paper cut,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
are you still trying to bring that masculine thing forward? Like, come on, it's not that bad, but
Yeah.
even though it's the absolute worst thing that's ever
Yeah.
happened, like,
I do in a way. Obviously, you don't know every kid's background and what they've been through.
yeah,
But I don't know. I've been really trying to do, you know, is it a big problem? Is it a small problem? Can it be solved in 10 seconds or does it need to be sorted out, you know, by a conversation? And I think the kids are starting to catch on to that a fair bit.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
is this a problem where, like, as a teacher, I don't need to get involved in it? Is it a problem? I don't know. You don't have a pencil. Can you ask the person next to you? So I think those sort of things are, I guess, where the masculinity comes in. Get on with it. You're fine. You don't need to do anything about it. But those bigger problems, like you said, I don't know what the worst thing that's happened to them is. I think it's always things can be worse. I think that's sort of the lesson I could preach, I guess, in a way.
Yeah. I like that. Perception of reality.
Yeah. Is this really going to ruin your day?
Yeah.
And like my dad always said to me, like, you got 24 hours in a day. Are you going to let 30 seconds of your day be ruined from that one thing?
I love those sort of talks, hey?
Yeah. So that's sort of something that's like stuck with me. Definitely. Just get on with it and you'll be right. You'll be fine. So yeah.
Yeah. Anything else, Carl?
I don't think I have anything particularly insightful. I was actually going to ask, is there anything in the curriculum that you'd like to change? Because, like, I know you're saying that you're not a big fan of some of the subjects, and there's definitely things that could be worth changing.
Yep.
I always think about the teachers. I know you guys don't really get all that much actual leeway in how you structure things. Like, it has to be X amount of this, X amount of that, X amount of this.
Yeah.
Would it be better, you reckon, if you had that more freedom to sort of justify where you're at? Because if I was like, you look at parenting, when you're teaching your kids, you're never trying to stick to one thing. Like, if something changes, you go, oh, we'll have a look at that next. Or
yeah. I think there are a few things that could be definitely improved in the Australian curriculum, and how schools do deliver things. I think a lot more personal skills and social skills should be incorporated into the curriculum than what there is. Because at the end of the day, that's what you need to get on in life, isn't it? You don't need to be able to figure out what 72 times 63 is, for example. And yeah, I wish there was just a little bit more freedom, like what you said, in what you can teach. One day you might do an hour of English, then you might do a couple of hours of maths. And because sometimes for me, I get a topic and I get really into it and I go, oh shit, that's 2 hours. I've got to move on to science to meet the quota. So yeah, I think being able to have that freedom would definitely make a lot of teachers' jobs a lot easier.
I love the idea of a quota. Like there's a camera watching you with a fucking countdown clock or something.
Even though there's not, like, literally, if I wanted to, I could do English all day for 5 hours. But yeah, it's really difficult.
Do you have any kids that would enjoy that for 5 hours? Because that's a wild notion.
I've got this one girl in my class and she just writes, and most of the time it's pretty good, but she can just waffle. Like, she can fill up 5 or 6 pages of just writing, and it just. Yeah.
So these are indeed words. There's words there.
Yeah. And sometimes you're like, oh, can you read through this, Mr. H? And I go, oh. I said, yeah. I was sort of skim reading. I go, yeah, that's good. So I was there all day sometimes. So, but yeah, I do provide feedback when kids need it. But yeah, with like free writing and all that sort of stuff, I just sort of let them have at it.
Well, it's true. It's like, I'll send that off to review with the other teachers to make sure it's definitely good.
Yeah, just leave it on my desk and I'll get to it in a bit. Yeah, so.
Take a photo off to ChatGPT. It goes.
Yeah, what do you reckon about this? Yeah.
One of the most powerful photos, not photos, but picture just on the Facebooks that I've seen, is when the teacher asks, "Can you climb this tree?"
Yeah.
And it's a picture of all these different animals. You've got an elephant, you've got a fish, you've got a monkey. And you're like, "Can you climb this tree?" Well, obviously the monkey's like straight up there.
Yeah.
But then you got all these. I think that's one of the most powerful things, and I guess that's caters into what your question was changing the curriculum to, every kid has a different set of skills, and it's trying to bring that out of them, make them
you
blossom.
see the weird alternate schools and stuff like that where they focus in on the kids individually. Is that what you're sort of getting at?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard. I've got 27 kids in my class, which is a lot.
That's a big class.
Yeah, so in the upper years, they get capped at 28. And then lower years, I think it's 23, I think they can have. But it is hard to be able to get around to every single kid and teach them in a specific way. So I think that is the tough part for kids, is being adaptable. I think being open to learning new ways, I think it's definitely a thing that some kids struggle with.
Are you finding that with the lack of like great male role models for a lot of kids, the boys especially are becoming worse and worse as the years are going on? Because there's this like notion, especially with the whole youth crime at the moment.
Yeah.
And I must admit, if you run into like a group of young guys now, most of them are right shits.
Yeah.
Well, before we turned the cameras on, he was talking about grade 3 students stabbing each other like with pencils.
Yeah, with pencils. So that was a girl actually.
Oh,
So
well, there you go.
yeah, but the boys are just as
It might
bad.
stay much the same then between the genders at this point if they're all stabbing each other.
But yeah, no, I've definitely noticed at our school, the data's definitely leaning more towards the boys being a bit more, I guess.
Boisterous.
Yeah, boisterous. Yeah, that's a nice word to use. But yeah, in my class, I know that a lot of my girls are nice. They're good. I don't need to worry about them. But just there's a few of the boys, and they're just a bit more bubbly, and it's sort of you get the saying, boys will be boys, but they need to realise that there's a time and a place for it. Like I'm all for them going out and tackling each other at lunchtime and all that sort of stuff. Like that's fine, but like you're at school, realise where you are. But yeah, I'm not too sure why like the data's that way, but it just is for some reason. So
it's crazy. I was at this the birthday party on Saturday. There was a boy and girl twin, and they did like a boys Monster Jam and a girls Barbie thing, and it was so funny. You saw like the girls going out picking the flowers out of the garden. And the boys are just on the field, and they were literally like tackling each other. They had like balloons, and they were like smashing each other with the balloons. Yeah, that's
no, it's good to see some things never change. Same for as long as time's been around, but
yeah.
But nah, yeah. So yeah, it's good.
Do you have anything you want to ask us?
Yeah, actually, I just thought of a good question before. How do you guys feel? Because obviously I'm 25, a bit on the younger side. As parents, and eventually you'll have this. How do you feel about a younger person teaching your student, like someone who's in their 20s or early 20s, teaching your child? How do you feel about that?
I'm all for it. I think that the important part, and I realize this as I'm slowly getting older, you start to lose connection with what it's actually like and what it's going to be like for younger people. Like I got friends in their 20s, and their life experience is going to be so drastically different from what I had that it's insane. Because I talk to them, I'm like, you need to sort of get a job and have a budget, and you'll never be able to buy a home because the world's kind of cooked, but maybe you can afford rent.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then they're like, oh no, we're not doing any of that. Why would we go and work 50 hours a week until we die to not afford a good life?
Yeah, exactly.
And like for me, I'm just like that doesn't work. You have to work. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But for them, they're just like, no, we're just not going to.
Yeah.
And there's other things like they watch a lot of brain rot content and oh God save me from TikTok.
Oh no, bloody it's terrible in the classroom, eh? They're all bloody doing the 6-7 thingy and does my head in, eh?
It's so stupid.
Oh, it is. But I guess when we were younger, we had all that sort of stuff as well, eh?
We had different things.
Yeah, so it just sort of goes through generations, and
I have no issue with you being a teacher or anything like that. Like I said, I'll just circle back to what we said before, which was string a sentence together, put some numbers together.
That's it, yeah.
I care most about your how good you are socially. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You can get that friend circle around. You can understand, like, start setting up boundaries. Yeah. And, things like that. So.
Yeah, because there has been times, especially in my first year of teaching, because I was 22 when I started teaching. And I had this young fellow in my class, and he was just couldn't sit still, eh? He was just all over the shop. Anyway, one afternoon, his mum's come up to me and said, how do I get his sleep schedule to be better? And I went, well, I don't really know. Like, I'm only 22. You've been his parent for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think there is a lot of pressure on teachers to sort of be able to figure out those problems. And I was sort of just like, well, I don't know. I said, have you tried taking the iPad off him at night time? She's going, oh, no, we just let him have it up until he goes to sleep.
No way.
So, so just common sense sometimes. You just sort of have to hold your tongue as a teacher sometimes. You go, oh, geez, what are you doing? But
at least you're a nice person. Me, I would have been like, hold on a sec. I'm just going to Google it. Have you heard of Google?
Yeah.
You can look the shit up.
Oh, no,
they've been making parenting books for hundreds of years. You just read a little bit.
Pick it up.
Imagine if you didn't have to care about people's feelings. Be like, I'm your kid's teacher. Fuck off.
Don't be stupid, It's fucking not difficult. Just common sense, just doesn't prevail in some people. But But nah, other than that, I've got no questions for you guys. But
Just be like, come on, I'll show you. Take them to the library.
Yeah.
These are books.
BOOKS. But
Are you joining me in class tomorrow? Is that what's happening?
Pull up a seat, yeah.
Did you know that blue light's bad for your eyes? Maybe you shouldn't have it.
Oh,
Alrighty, Nathan.
no worries.
Pleasure
Cheers,
talking
Alex.
to you,
Thanks,
man.
mate.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's all good.
Bye. I just cut them off the end now. I was just like, oh, fuck that.